You're listening to the Things About Nature podcast. Coming to you from a city that never sleeps is me, your host, Rockshana. I invite you to join me in truly honest, passionate, and fun talks that motivate, invigorate, and maybe inspire. Even though we're no longer in the mile high, the sky is still the limit. Everything and anything goes. So let's start talking about things of that nature. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning into this episode of the Things About Nature podcast. I'm your host, Rockshana, and I don't even think I should say it anymore. It's just continuous friends from all over that are doing all different type of things in their lives to just get you as listeners to want to get up and do something. For some people, we're still hanging out at home, not doing anything. Others were just procrastinating. And some people are doing it, but let's do it. Let's start businesses. Let's inspire everyone else. And that's why I'm excited for our guest today, because something told him to just get up and do it. And he got up and did it. So today's guest is Tarek Hassan. So hi, Tarek. How are you?
I am great, Rockshana. How are you?
I'm doing well. Now, did I butcher your last name or what?
It'll work. No worries.
Okay. Names are important, especially in just the world in general. Names are important. So I always like to make sure I'm close. Or
you were close. You were close. So it's all good.
Okay, sounds good. So where are you talking to us from?
I'm talking to you from the beautiful city of Toronto, Canada.
Oh, I have yet to make my way up to Canada. Am I missing anything?
You are missing out on a lot. And especially with summer almost here, it's the best time to visit.
All right, I'm missing out, so I need to visit. There you go. We're adding it closer to the top of the list.
Nice.
Now, you're an entrepreneur, you're a career coach, you're business consulting, you're doing a lot. I appreciate it because I myself do a lot.
Yeah, I was reading up on you, and it seems like you're doing a lot of things. You got a lot of things going on at the same time.
Yes. I don't like being bored. That's where it comes from. And I have a feeling you're the same.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I'm not doing something, when I'm not actually adding value to something or not creating something, I just get bored. I need to do something new,
Okay, I can relate.
Okay.
Anyone else listening? It's okay to be busy. I read a meme the other day where it said, being busy was an excuse or being busy was a hobby. It was something along those lines. And I'm like, has that person seen my calendar?
Yeah, true. So, what are some of the things you're keeping you busy these days?
Podcasting is one. I've launched off and done that. I just recently moved to Vegas. I keep saying recently, even though it's been a year. And nice. I really expanded in the world of consulting and modeling, dancing, not as much as I had anticipated, which not sad or relieved, just a weird dynamic that happened. Mm-hmm. And just reaching people like yourself. What about yourself? What was the first business you started?
We gotta go ways back. So a little bit of a background. So I went to university and studied economics, right? And once I graduated, I started working for this company called Manulife Financial. So it's a Canadian insurance company, and they actually bought over John Hancock Financial in the US. So because of the cheaper dollar and the cheaper wages, they actually moved all the operations to the Toronto office here. So I actually worked for US pension side for a while. And after a while, it was like, I would say around 3 years. And I was kind of bored at work. I really wanted to do something for myself. So in 2006, I started a staffing business. And I had no industry contacts, very little capital, and I started because you know what, I really wanted to do something. I wanted to grow the business, but obviously the first year or so was a real struggle, And I think at that time, I still had that employee mindset. And, nothing against people who have regular jobs, but I was looking at things a little differently because the way I was thinking is that, okay, so I had this job which paid me X every 2 weeks. And right now I'm making nothing. So I'm missing out on the paychecks. But later, what I found was that, you know what, you do one placement, one permanent placement, you can make it all back within one placement. That's all you need to do. So I guess at that time, I kind of developed this kind of hunter mentality that I gotta hunt down more business because at the end of the day, if I am just sitting around my computer sending out cold emails or whatever, I'm never gonna get a response. So if I need to do something, I actually have to get there, make those connections, um, create relationships, build on that, and also improve my own operations. So I ran my staffing business for about 8 years, and then I sold out. And because I wanted to do something different, plus at that time, I had already been running the business nonstop for many number of years, 8 years, as I said. And I had 9 staff at that time. And the company which bought over actually transitioned over some of my people. And unfortunately, the other people I had to let go. But we all ended in very good terms. And that's the story of my first staffing business.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. So let's hit back on the fact of when you said that you had little capital. A lot of people don't start businesses because it's where's the capital? What do I do? So what kept you going with, I don't know how much the capital you had, but what kept you going for what you considered to be little capital to keep going and moving?
So here is the thing, and this is what I have learned over the last, uh, 2 decades, right? One thing I will say is that you have little capital, and that shouldn't deter you from starting something. Previously, many years ago, it was really difficult to have a side hustle and have a full-time job. The reason being is that at that time, a lot of things weren't digital as it is today. You can have a full-time job sitting at home. You can also run a business on the side sitting at home, sitting right in front of your computer. You don't have to go anywhere, right? You can also run day-to-day stuff on your phone. Things are so much easier today. So what I would say for anybody who's kind of sitting on the fence and thinking about it, what I would say is that, you don't have to have the best website. You don't have to have even, the best marketing stuff. You just need to understand that, you've got a few $1,000s, let's say. How can you stretch those dollars and where should you spend it? You can build your own website these days. You don't have to go to a web developer and spend a few $1,000s developing a website. You can do it yourself. You can do it offshore. There are so many platforms like Upwork and such, where you will get a much better deal, doing those things. You don't necessarily have to spend thousands of dollars creating a logo or anything like that. You can get it again. Anything to get started. Once you start, that's when you will realize, what is the potential here. Should you devote more of your time towards your job or towards your business? So I would say, in my opinion, it's not really a matter of money, it's a matter of time. Because you see, money is one thing. You can go out, max out your line of credit or credit card or get a loan. I mean, there's many ways to get money. But the thing is that you can't really get more time. So your time is limited. So how you spend that time is what's going to determine whether you're going to be successful or not.
I like that. Money and time don't really add up, but a lot of people, we put them together, not even a lot of people, just in general, we put them together. To most, they are the same, but really, sometimes they're not.
No, they're not. You're right. So what it is that you have to value your time. Of course, you have to value your money too, but you got to really value your time and understand how you're spending that time, right? So as I said, that you can have a full-time job and do a business on the side once you first start and see where it goes. And if you think that, you know what, it's going somewhere and you're actually making some money, rather than taking the profit from your business, you can just reinvest it into your business again and improve so many different things or buy new stock or whatever you need to
do. Okay. What was one of, so how many businesses actually have you created?
Um, so one of the things is that I generally, and this is true for most people as well, they like to talk about all the successes, but there have been more minor failures for me than actual successes, I would say. So when I first started, the staffing business was successful. Obviously, I ran that for 8 years. But on the side, I also started a website development company, which didn't do well. I started event management company, which didn't do well. I started I didn't really start, but there was somebody who wanted to build an app. So basically, I did fund a little bit of money, as the partner, and that business failed. So there have been a lot of different failures for me throughout the years. But the thing is that when I've been successful, I have basically what I've done with my failures, I should say, is that I've limited my losses in terms of, because we have started in very small ways, I just wanted to see if it would work or not, rather than going into a big investment. So presently, one of the businesses which has been successful has been a moving and storage business. It's called Double Space Moving and Storage. A partner and myself, we started this about 2 years ago. And that business has become profitable in the first year. And none of us have or had any prior experience of logistics. Like we didn't know anything about trucks, logistics, warehousing, none of these things. And now we do moving and storage. And we've been, thankfully, we've done really well. We've been featured on various different blogs and news sites and things like that. So that's going well.
Okay. So I feel like your message, and correct me if I'm wrong, is very much of the fact of you literally keep going, whether it's a minor detail that has caused one business to not be what you had anticipated or hoped it to be, that didn't stop you from getting an idea and creating a next one.
Yes, 100%. And this is one thing I will say is that, see, you have a vision in mind, right? I think most people do when they start a business, but seldom does it always work out exactly like that. So what it is that once you start a business and you see what's working and what's not working, you have to be agile enough to basically make those changes and make those changes really quickly, right? You got to adapt to what the market is doing. If that means you got to increase your rates overnight to compensate for the increase in gas prices, you got to do that. If it means that there are a significant number of competition undercutting your prices, then you got to match up with those prices or do something else just to add some more value for the customer. So what I would say is that if you have a customer centric mindset where you build a business in order to serve customers, and if you just have that customer centric mindset, then it is easy to shift your priorities and take care of stuff to ensure that you're offering the best value.
All right. It's business mindset, motivation, keep going, but also remember your message and providing that value for your customers and even your employees. They count too.
Yes, absolutely. That's the other part. Because in order to grow and sustain growth, you have to have an excellent team behind you, right? So that's the only way that an entrepreneur can actually start multiple businesses is if they have a trusted team behind them, and you got to treat your employees right. So what that it means many different things, but for me, what it means is that I am transparent when I'm hiring anyone, whether I am hiring someone for my consulting business to work with me on a short-term project, or whether I'm hiring drivers and movers for our moving business. You have to be super transparent to what the work environment is like, what they should expect on the job, what are your expectations from your employees, and of course compensation, working conditions, all that stuff. And at all times, I have always tried to remain as professional as possible with everyone who works with me. So I think those are some of the important things to keep in mind.
What would be one of the biggest lessons you learned throughout your entire business development journey?
One thing that I have learned is that people are gonna make mistakes. That's gonna happen. It's a given. But the lesson is not to make the same mistake again. Because if you keep making the same mistake over and over again, your business is done. And the same thing can be said for a job, right? You know, how many times will an employer actually accept the same kind of mistakes? They won't. So learn quickly and adapt. I think that's the way people should proceed. And the other thing is that listen to your customers. When you first start a business, whatever business it may be, see, we always like to value customers who say great things, give you a 5 star on Google or something like that. But whenever there is some kind of negative feedback, we kind of step back and say, you know what, he's a difficult person, can't deal with him, etc. There's so many things. But I think one of the key things that I have done over the years is that I've tried to listen to my customers. Um, and I've tried to see that, you know what, can I improve something in my operations or in my processes where I can actually serve this person and similar customers in the future much better. So if there is a takeaway, I would say these two things. Be adaptable and definitely listen to your customers. And when I say listen, I mean really listen to your customers.
Okay. Everybody wants to be heard. And how do
Yeah,
you hear and prefer? All right.
100%.
How does one reach out to you for your coaching, your amazing words of wisdom, or to pick your brain on the difficulties they may be having in creating a business?
So I do have a YouTube channel. They can reach out to me there. It's called HR Connections Canada. Connections is spelled Connexions. That's the French word connections. That's also the name of my company, HR Connections Canada. Our website is hrcxtalentservices.com. You can definitely reach out to me. If any of your listeners are in Toronto and they need moving services, the name of our company is Double Space. So it's doublespace.ca.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being a guest and sharing your difficulties and sharing your journey and your words of wisdom and suggestion with everybody.
Thank you so much for having me. And one thing I want to say, I really appreciate what you're doing. You're bringing on really, diverse people and listening to their stories and sort of creating that environment where people are opening up and able to say the real things that they want to actually talk about.
Oh, thanks. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but what Tariq said really hit home for me. Hopefully it hit home for you too, as entrepreneur that is maybe in a hard spot, or you just need a reminder of keep going. If one didn't work out to what your expectations were, let's try a new one, or let's try a new way. I'm your host, Rockshana. Today's guest was Tarek Hassan. Be sure to tune in each week for a new episode. And remember, everything and anything goes. The sky is the limit. Music for the Things That Nature podcast is an original track by Jared Sacramento called Dosage.